Hey, this is Brandon Ford, and welcome to the Blind Rage Podcast. I'm very happy to announce that once again I have Tony the Tiger, a.k.a. the Thunder from Down Under, here with me. Say hello, Tony.
Hello, Tony. Good to be with you again.
I can't believe you did that, really. And we are doing the 1983 Robert Hiltzik classic Sleepaway Camp. I'm very excited because this is one of my all-time favorites. And it is one that I did for B-Movie Bonanza, but I didn't. And I wanted to do again for whatever we're doing now. What is the name of the show again? The Blind Rage Podcast.
Yes.
But I didn't want to, unless I had somebody special. And we have Tony the Tiger here and his cornball jokes.
And my doctor did call me special, so.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure he wasn't the only one. And so, yes, before we get started, I got to get the plugs out of the way so I don't forget. Okay. So I would like to encourage you to please go to Amazon.com and the Amazon app on your smartphone. Type in Brandon Ford to check out my books in both paperback and Kindle editions, and especially my most recent endeavor, He Wore a Leather Jacket, which will hopefully be available in Audible audio edition. Audible audio book. What the fuck is wrong with me? Yes, and on the Amazon page, you can also find my author page, and you can follow me and get alerts whenever I have new releases. So you should do that. And if you prefer audiobooks, I am on Audible. So you could just go to audible.com or open the Audible app and type in Brandon Ford. 10 books up now, including The Mystery of Kelly Christopher, Progressive Entrapment, Dreams of Sharp Teeth, Coffee at Midnight, The Final Girl, etc., etc., etc. If you don't already, please follow me on Instagram at writer Brandon Ford, on Twitter at Brandon Ford, and on Letterboxd at Brandon Ford. I just posted a review last night for L.A. AIDS Jabber, and I'm sure you'll want to read that. And you should also follow Tony on Letterboxd. He laughs, but he has one, at Tony_the_bear.
Yes, check out my box.
Check out his box.
I'm in far too good a mood today. I apologize.
Mm-hmm. I think he had an Irish coffee, we'll say. That's what we'll call it. So we are using the Scream Factory edition, which is, the 2-disc edition. So if you have that, you can watch along. But I don't even think anybody has the censored version anymore. If they do, they probably just keep it in a fucking box, much like Tony's. Although I'm sure theirs has a little less dust. But yeah, I'll get into the censored version in a minute. But before that, so if you want to watch along, I think all 3 of the Sleepaway Camp movies are free on Prime. If you want to watch them on Tubi with ads, you can also do that. I'm not sure if it's on Shudder, but Sleepaway Camp is relatively easy to find. It might even be on YouTube for free. So there you go. There's that. But okay. So we're going to get started with a 3 count. Are you ready, Tony?
I got my finger on the buzzer.
Mm-hmm. And he's going to bash the shit out of it like he always does. Okay, so we're going to begin with a 3 count. So it's going to be 3, 2, 1, and then play. So if you're ready, please make sure you have your movie queued up because we are beginning in 3, 2, 1, play. Yeah, so
Oh.
I think it's been so long that a lot of people have forgotten that there was a censored version that was released in the United States on VHS and DVD, and it's also included in the Sleepaway Camp survival kit.
Oh, okay.
And that version was a cut. A few scenes were cut. And when asked about it, writer director Robert Heltzik didn't know. He didn't have anything to say because he and Felissa Rose did the commentary for that original version and they didn't notice it. And then a lot of people were like, what the fuck? But they didn't have the full negative. I'm going to talk about the cuts in a second, but I want to talk about this scene in particular because I always found it to be particularly eerie because it's kind of like the ghosts of camp. Because you could hear all the voices and the laughter, and you could hear the counselors in the background and stuff, and you kind of have this ominous music playing over it while the titles play, and then it finally pans to the camp for sale. I was listening to another podcast do a commentary for this, and they thought this was before Angela and everybody came to camp.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never really thought of that.
How could you? How could you make that mistake? No, this is after.
Oh, okay. Well,
this is after everybody is dead. That's why the camp is for sale. And that's why I was saying that's why it's creepy because it's like the ghosts of camp because you hear all the people laughing in the background, but you don't see anybody. Jesus Christ.
Well, it's been a while since I to add, I did watch it on YouTube, so you can see it on that. But apparently, it gives you amnesia. So
apparently, yeah. But when I first did this on B Movie Bonanza, this Blu-ray DVD edition that we're watching now had just come out. So I didn't think everybody had it yet. So I assumed more people would have this survival kit version. So that's the version that I did a commentary for. And while it's not heavily trimmed, there are some noticeable moments that are cut out. And again, it's kind of become one of those things that people forgot about because nobody talks about it anymore because nobody cares because we finally have the uncut version. But two of the scenes are when the boys go skinny dipping. The shot of them running across the dock, that's cut out. And when John Dunn's character is discovered, his character's body is discovered. Part of it is cut. The part when the snake crawls out of his mouth. I know there's something else, but I can't remember.
Well, fortunately, the father wasn't cut out because he is very wolf.
And he's a terrible actor. If you have to look quickly, but the father's boyfriend, when you see him he's nothing to look at either. But you have to look because he can't really. It's a very quick shot, and he lifts his arm to point at his watch. But he's fucking jacked. And he's like wearing shorts. I mean, he does look good, but like I said, he's not really much to look at in the face. So this is Peter and Angela, these little kids, or what? Well, when we go back to them, And Angela is about to die. Hey, there he is. Wait.
Ah, yeah.
You see that shit? He was looking good, right?
Mm-hmm. They don't make shorts like they used to.
Yeah, but the father is very, very hairy and skinny.
So he's an otter.
No.
Why I otter?
So I don't even know what that means, but I'm assuming it's not anything good.
Well, in my dictionary, it's a fine thing. It's a good thing.
Why the fuck didn't he just grab the wheel?
I know.
I was when they were talking about this on another podcast I listened to. It was the most recent episode, actually. Bad Taste Video. And they were making fun of this girl who's like having a nervous breakdown. But I think she does pretty good. And especially when she was water skiing and she's trying to get their attention.
Yeah, yeah.
I was believing her.
Wrong with her, yeah.
No, I think she does good. I think she does well.
Vale Desiree Gould.
Yeah. R.I.P. Oh. I wanted you to.
I was hosting a Halloween party, and in the lead up, I was using all of these these gay icons to sort of advertise it, and I used her a picture of her with the string on her finger to say, "Don't forget, the Halloween party's coming up."
It's orange too, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah.
The string. How fitting. There's Felissa Rose and Jonathan Tiersten. And Felissa was 13. And Jonathan Tiersten was 17 when they shot this.
And apparently they sort of grew affectionate with each other, but broke up before the ending of filming.
Well, yes. Well, they talk about it in the documentary, which a certain somebody didn't watch. But yeah, they and Felissa Rose is really, really funny. She has a lot of character, and she tells her stories with a lot of enthusiasm. And because I'm nice, when this first came out, I left her a post on her wall and said, I thought you did a really good job on the documentary on the nude disc, and you were so funny and charismatic, and she seemed really touched, and she was like, "Oh, you just made my day."
Yeah,
she always answers. If you reach out to her, she will answer. She's very, very nice.
Yeah, she's like Ringo Starr.
All right.
If you trust me on that. Has she been in much aside from the Sleepaway Camp franchise?
Well, she's not in the well, she's in the Return, but okay. In the Blind Rage podcast studios, Return to Sleepaway Camp does not exist because it's awful.
What's that?
It was the because everybody has to, we're going to ignore the other sequels and just make a direct sequel to the original.
Okay, yep.
And it was written and directed by Robert Hiltzik, who directed this and hadn't made another movie. Parts 2 and 3 he had an idea.
Yeah.
But I think they only took a small piece of it and ran with it. And he seems like an ass because in the documentary, he said that After this came out, it wasn't a huge success. And, when you're a filmmaker, it's not a steady gig. And he had a family. I think he had just had a baby. So he was studying law, and I think he went back to school and got his law degree.
Yeah.
And he went on to become an attorney. And he didn't make another movie after this. This is so sick and so twisted, and it would never ever be in a movie today.
Well,
unless
a lot
it
of
was
this
something
movie
very
just
indie.
or a lot of it reminds me, and not too just European, but it reminds me more of European cinema, like their attitude towards violence and kids, even.
Well, that's the thing too that Robert Hiltzik says in the documentary is he wanted actual kids.
Yeah.
He didn't want like early 20s playing kids. He wanted actual kids. So these are all like 13 to 17 year old kids. Well, there's some younger ones too. I think they might be like 8 or somewhere between 8 and 10. There's a handful of them.
Yeah.
And there's Chris Colley, who went. He's not acting anymore. I don't remember what he's doing now. But he went on to be in the movie Firstborn with Corey Haim and Terry Garr, and he was in the Stand, the miniseries.
Oh,
The Stand.
the early one.
The early one. Yep.
Yeah. Oh well, obviously not the recent one because you said he doesn't really act anymore.
No, he does like a 9 to 5 now.
Yeah.
And there is. What are you laughing about?
Well, she's in a few memes that I've.
Is she? Well,
I've seen a few.
Judy is the bully that everybody loves to fucking hate.
Yes.
And
yes.
while Karen Fields, I think, is one of the standouts in this movie because the acting really isn't all that great.
Yeah.
But she is very, very convincing.
Yes.
And Felissa said, actually several times, she said that both Karen Fields and Catherine Cammey, who plays Meg, the counselor, they were the antithesis of their characters. They were the sweetest, nicest people. And the three of them were all best friends when they were making this movie. Yes, Felissa has nothing but nice things or wonderful memories about making this movie and everybody involved. She had a really, really good time.
Yeah.
And getting back to what you were saying before, she and Jonathan Tiersten did have a little thing going on, but they both said it didn't go past kissing because she was too young. And
yeah.
If I was 17, I would not be, anywhere near somebody who was 13.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it's not exactly. Yeah, you're still both minors, but still 13. When you're 13 and 17, when you're that age, that's like an eternity.
Yes, exactly. And when you're that young, when you're 17, you're sort of looking forward as opposed to looking back to future.
Well, you should be,
mates.
Yeah.
Like as a 17-year-old, you might go for a 19 or 20-year-old. That would be like the age difference type of thing. Generally, you'd go for someone your own year level, but yeah.
Well, I guess if you're a girl, you do.
I remember in high school when I was in year 8, sort of perving on the year 12s, but I wouldn't expect that in return.
Oh. There's fuck, I forgot his name. Ronnie.
Ronald Angelo? Paul D'Angelo?
Paul D'Angelo.
God, those bloody shorts.
He is a little too big.
In what way?
Uh, he's like jacked to the ceiling. I think he might be juicing.
I
And
wasn't sure what you were referring to.
well, you didn't see his dick hanging out of his shorts. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
But there's one scene, it's kind of funny, where he has nothing to do with what's going on. I think it's the scene, the water balloon scene, but I could be wrong. But you can see him in the background just like doing curls with these huge weights.
yeah.
So yeah, this is already I was doing really well with the names. And now his name escaped me.
As soon as we're recording, it's like, whoop.
I don't know what you said. Did something go wrong with your recording? What?
No, I'm at a noise.
Oh. Oh, I didn't hear anything. I hear birds now.
Oh my god. That's
But,
because
yeah.
I'm near.
The actor who played Artie, the pervert, pedophile, passed away. I don't know exactly what happened. Because he doesn't look very
Healthy?
old. He look probably well. There's that, but he looks like he's probably in his early 30s, probably late 20s, because this is 1983.
Yeah.
Oh, this is terrible. And Jonathan Tierson has been very vocal about how many times he got slammed to get that shelf because Robert Hiltzik wanted take after take after take.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he got fucked up.
Yes.
And there's another scene toward the end when Nell, Mike Callan's character, him right there with the cigar, he pounds on him, and after he's discovered, you see him and he's all like bloody, coughing up blood, and his nose is all bloody. They had to pack his nose with some kind of makeup tubing. I don't know exactly what it was, but according to him, it was very, very unpleasant, and I think he might have had some long-term issues because of it. So yeah, and there's Robert Earl Jones too. He also passed away. James Earl Jones's father.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's interesting because we have James Earl Jones's father in this one. We have Pamela Springsteen, Bruce Springsteen's sister.
Yes.
And who she's in 2 and 3, and we have also in 2 and 3 we have Rene Estevez, brother of
Emilio,
Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez, and in part 3 we have Tracy Griffith, sister of Melanie. So we have the offspring of major stars in these movies.
The nepotism movies.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
It's like that Dave Franco movie that we were talking about the other day.
The rental, yeah.
Yes. Ugh.
Look at his big fat ass. And these are all Jonathan Tierson. These are all Jonathan Tierson's hands. So Jonathan had to push them.
Okay.
So there have been some debates about this movie and some questions that I think Robert Hiltzik wanted to purposely leave ambiguous.
Yeah.
And those questions are, first of all, did Ricky know that Angela was a boy? I always said yes, because he lived with her.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he was so overprotective of her.
Yes.
So you agree with that?
I think, yeah, I think that would be logical.
Do you think that
Oh, God.
he knew she was killing people?
I think that could be a step, yeah, that he did know.
I don't know. I'm on the fence
Or that at least
about
he
that.
could have suspected her as being the killer.
I think he might have thought maybe, but I don't think that he. Well, there was also another theory that they were in on it together, and
Yeah.
that's why they had Ricky's hands.
I was going to ask, yeah, why they used Ricky's hands,
Well,
which
they
would explain that.
Well, I don't think they. Well, they couldn't use Felicia's hands because girls have small hands, and especially I could imagine a 13-year-old girl's hands would be very, very tiny. So I think that would have been a dead giveaway right there.
But
if they
then
used her hands.
she's a boy.
This is true. But
all I
Felicity
keep-
Rose
sorry.
isn't a boy.
Yes,
so
that's true. All I keep noticing in these scenes is the fly traps and all the flies.
yes, yeah, and
It just
she talks
adds
about
to the
that
dread.
in yeah, they're disgusting. She talks about that in the documentary, how they were all over the mess hall and there
Yeah.
were flies really attached to them and how disgusting it was.
Did Peter get angry?
So do you remember the first time you saw this?
Yes, I do. It was maybe 2-3 years ago. I'd actually read about it because I hadn't heard about it. In an article, it was slamming the director and his choice of shots and inability to create tension and the acting and the short shorts. But and just that it had and it wonderfully it didn't give away the ending. But it just said, oh, it's just well known for the ending. And so it just made me really want to check out what it was all about. And because it sort of suggests that there really is no, it's sort of played as a murder mystery, but it doesn't really give you, I think, many options on who the killer could be. And
Right.
the killer that it keeps suggesting could be the killer turns out to be the killer.
Yes, but there's also something else. See, that's what I like about that twist.
Yes.
And you really don't. It's interesting to me because there are for sure seeds. I mean, it was not an afterthought.
Yes.
This was something that was planned when he was writing the script. Because there are certain moments, and I'll pick them out when we get to them, that definitely hint at Angela really being a boy.
Yeah. Like the mystery element turns out to be the why as opposed to the who at the end of the day.
How do you mean?
You know, if you're watching it as a who, it's less a whodunit and why did they do it? And so if you're following
what do you mean,
the clues,
why did they do it? They tormented the hell out of her.
yeah, but then the reveal at the end.
Why did she reveal herself? What do you mean?
No, you just
Or
carry
why
on
did
with
she
your
kill
thought.
everybody?
Well, just sort of explaining her mental state by being someone who was forced into a different gender by a lunatic aunt.
I
my
still
God.
don't understand what your question is.
That's all right. You carry on with the thought you had.
He's not bad.
The picture, you definitely catch him. I know that's not the picture.
Larice Salahane. He hasn't aged well at all, though. Oh no. And from what I heard, he was very much into theater. after the fact,
Oh, okay.
doing costuming and such. And that leads me to believe he might play for us.
Yes.
But I don't know. I don't know if he's. I don't know if there's. I can't remember if he's ever. If they ever found him, like for interviews and stuff.
Yeah. Is the director, filmmaker gay?
No.
No. Oh my gosh. Like, I really cannot understand his his choices that he's made then.
A lot of people always talk about how long this baseball scene goes on. It never really bothered me.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. But I think you're more distracted by the banter between them.
Yeah.
Because it's more focused on their hostility for each other than it is for the actual game.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there's that little guy with Mozart who was playing his little video game. So it's like it's really not baseball focused.
Yeah.
It's more focused on the characters.
Yes.
So that's why it never bothered me. And one thing that Robert Hiltzik said that he wanted to do when he wrote this script was he wanted to write. He wanted to write kids talking the way they really talk at this age, and I think he was successful in that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if you look at Scream, kids don't talk like that. Teenagers do not talk like that. Teenagers do not use 5-syllable words. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think I might have made this joke before, but I'm going to make it again because I'm a hack, much like Kevin Williamson. But there's one of many lines that bothered me in Scream, but the one that really irks me, I wouldn't say the most, but has always really irked me, is the scene when Nev Campbell and Rose McGowan are at the grocery store, and Sydney says, "How many other guys would deal with a girlfriend who's sexually anorexic?" It just sounds like you're starving yourself when you're horny. It doesn't make any sense. I could just picture somebody like rubbing themselves, going, "Oh, I'm so hungry."
Yeah, yeah.
Because
I'd
anorexia
rather someone
is
be a sexual bulimic, because then they purge.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. But anorexia or being anorexic is a very specific thing. You can't turn it into something else
Yep, yep.
just to suit your fancy. Because I think what he was trying to do was what the writer of Heathers did and the writer of Clueless did, which was make up their own language.
Their lingo, yeah, yeah.
Their own lingo. And I think he failed on that front. Can't you talk? See, I could talk like that. No, not that bad. Not that bad. But these New York accents are really, really heavy. Can't you talk? I'm
So
trying to think.
what is Mike Kellen famous for?
Oh,
I
he
feel
was
like
an
I've seen
actor.
him in-
He was well, I think
but-
I don't know a lot of his stuff, but he was a very notable actor in his day. But the only other movie that I saw him in was Just Before Dawn, and he dies in the beginning, which is another camp slasher movie, but not a camp. It was a camp in the woods.
Oh, okay, yep. It's not
But
a
yeah, he
cult
was in-
classic.
That was before
Yes.
this. I think this was actually his last movie.
Yeah, I think he died 3 months after filming.
Oh,
Oh no, 3 months before the film's release.
well, that's sad. Yeah, Felissa took her whole 8th grade class to see this. She said
Oh, really?
when it first came out, which is kind of narcissistic, but um, I don't know. She was, and I never knew this, but her mother, who was also in the documentary because she was on set the whole time.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I imagine all the
sh-
parents have to be on set for the kids.
I don't think they were.
Or maybe they
No, I
just
don't.
need a guardian. Yeah, yeah.
I don't think they were. Felissa's mother was there the whole time because she was the lead.
Yeah.
But according to her, Felissa didn't say this. She never talked about this, not that I know of. But after the movie came out, she was bullied relentlessly, so bad that she had to change schools.
Oh. Was that
My wo-
with the school that she took to the cinema with?
It was probably not.
Ah.
It was probably the one because we have middle. I think you don't have. Well, we have middle school here. There's some junior high, but we never did that. But middle school is 5th to 8th, and then
Yeah,
high
yeah.
school is 9th to 12th. But some people, I don't even think they do
Jesus.
junior high anymore. But junior high is supposed to be like 7th to 9th or something.
Okay.
What do you call it?
Jesus.
Tom Van
Sorry.
Dell. Tom Van
It's the
Dell.
skinny dipping scene.
Yeah, and they weren't of age, and
Yes.
one of them you could tell didn't want to do it because he pulled his underwear off right before he jumped in the water,
Yeah, yeah.
and that was not. And there's something that I'm kind of again. I'm glad that I can't see this, but there's something that always. It's like I can't not look at it because it's right there and it's in your face. But after when they're all standing on the pier, one of the kids has a very noticeable erection.
Lord.
Now,
I feel like the director ended up going into law, like to defend himself after making this.
no, nobody had a problem in 1983.
Lord.
No, that's a different Leslie right there.
Yeah.
The girl that came down originally, she got sick. And she couldn't do it. She couldn't do this part.
So had they filmed a Leslie scene earlier, but with someone else?
They filmed it. They filmed her coming down, and I think it was
yeah.
right when she got in the boat.
Yes.
That was a different girl.
So it's like soap operas where they just replace an actor.
Well, I never noticed that it was a different girl because the hair was the same, and they kind of looked similar, and she wasn't a primary character. I didn't give a shit about Leslie.
Yeah.
So I never really cared to think about it. In the French dub, by the way, I always noticed this, or I'd noticed this. When he says, hey you, oh, this is the boner. You can see it. Or it's the one that, what's his face throws in the water when he says, is this what they say? Is this what they mean by, when they say getting caught with their pants down or something?
Yeah.
I think it was him. But, yeah. Um, in France, like when you go to get somebody's attention, for some reason they go cuckoo. I don't know what that
Okay.
is, but that's what he says in the French dub of
Yeah.
this instead of "Hey you." He goes cuckoo. I could not follow the French dub of this at all because it's all cursing, and
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
how to I don't know how to curse in French.
Really? That's the first thing people learn.
Well, if you learn the wrong way, I was trying to be serious.
I learned it through porn. That's all they say.
Oh, I like it when they talk in French porn. I like it. I do. When they give, like, direction of what they like and where to go, and yeah, I like it. This was right here. It's about to come up. This scene right here. I have
I
that
don't know.
same hat he's wearing, the bucket hat. Yeah, that was cut right there. The snake coming out of his mouth was cut out.
I wonder why.
I think it was a flaw in the negative
Oh, okay.
that was presented to Anchor Bay. I don't think it was an intentionally cut for like an R or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was just the negative was fucked up and nobody noticed it.
I don't think so. Weren't any bumps or bruises when I checked. Though again, I'm no expert on this matter.
It was obviously an accident. I mean, the boy might have got scared and panicked, right?
That could be a logical explanation.
So it was one of those fluke
So
accidents.
he just,
but not at the scene.
he's trying to explain it away.
I don't know.
As being the mayor of Jaws.
I mean, that's what the
That's true.
said, right?
I said the autopsy will be more
That's
conclusive.
true.
Oh, I forgot to say happy 20th anniversary of Scary Movie 2 today.
You'll excuse me, I have the unpleasant task of
Really?
informing the boy's parents.
Truly.
I'd like the help, officer.
Okay.
Jesus, the man doesn't take no for an answer, does he?
On the 5th, that's my anniversary. On July 5th, 2004, I started Longhand, what became my first full-length novel.
Oh, lovely.
Sure hope you're
What was your first novel?
It was called Crystal Bay, and don't read it because it's bad.
That's just what you think.
Well, it's out of print, so
Yeah.
you can't read it if you want, unless you want, if you find a copy.
No. Sorry. I was getting too involved in the volleyball game.
Oh. Do you have volleyball down under?
Yeah. I was never good at it.
Well, no, I wasn't either. And I was like Daria
Oh, okay.
in that I would just stand there
Yeah.
and let it pass me. And that was only when we had to play sports in school.
Yes. We had I got pretty good at badminton, and that sort of like volleyball style, but with a shuttlecock.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We played that too.
What's she? Special? It doesn't seem fair, does it?
Well, I remember when I was when I was working
Are you supposed to be somewhere?
at a department store.
Listen, Angela.
There was a frisbee that was not where it was supposed to be, and my boss picked it up and like tossed it at me because he wanted me to put it back, and I literally just turned and watched it go by. I didn't even make an effort,
Yeah.
which is like, a huge giveaway right there. And when he saw me do that, he just started laughing and turned around and went the other way. There was another time that one of my coworkers was going to throw me a set of keys, and he was from like 15 feet away, and I was dead serious. I was like, "Do not throw those keys.
Yeah.
I'm coming over there and getting them. Don't throw them," because there was no doubt in my mind I was going to fucking miss. And what was going to happen is they were going to hit me in the face. I knew that.
Well,
So I said, I will get them. Don't throw them at me, please.
yeah, at my work, they used to always throw keys, and I like as they're about to say, I throw it at my face, and that would sort of put them off. So
Mm. This is just like such a nothing thing, but I just remember this TV movie that I watched when there's these three women who are friends and they want to take a picture, and the husband of one of those says, "Let me take it," and one of the women throws him the camera. And it's just so effortless. He just puts his hands together, cups him, and just catches it like it's nothing.
yeah,
And if it was me, that camera would have been shattered in 1,000 pieces.
you would have toppled it from one hand to the other, and then it would have fallen in the end anyway.
Oh, I don't even think it would have even gone that far. It wouldn't. I would have been totally in the wrong place.
Has there been any? Because you said there were a few giveaways that she of the reveal at the end.
Has there been any yet?
Yes.
I don't think
know.
so.
No.
I thought you were asking me.
Yeah, I was asking.
No, I don't think so. Not yet.
Yeah.
There's one. I think the first one is when Meg throws her in the water, and when she's going back to the bench and the little kids are throwing sand at her, she's hunched over.
Oh, okay.
And then
yeah.
when she's sitting down on the bench, she has her arms, like her forearms folded across her lap.
Come on, Gino. He was just kidding. Give him a break.
Yeah, give me a break.
He's kind of cute, this guy. He's very Italian looking.
Very Tony Danza.
Yeah. He's very, very Guido.
Yeah. Did you go to camp in school?
No.
Oh. In
No,
high
I
school,
would have
it
been
was sort of a
miserable.
yearly thing.
You went?
No, it was a week long thing that was part of the curriculum where
I've heard it. I've heard of that. I've heard of that.
it wasn't a fun thing.
No, I would have been. I can imagine. I would have been crying. I would have been like, I want to go home.
Well, I had a bad experience in Year 5 camp where someone came onto the grounds and stole my bag. And so that sort of maybe not like camping. And I didn't go. In Year 7, the class went to camp and I didn't go along just because I was still too traumatized. But then in high school, I was sort of forced into going because there was no replacement to going to camp.
Right. Well,
And by then
summer
I
camp,
was a bit more matured.
summer camp is really expensive too.
Yeah.
It's like $3,000. So, especially sleepaway camp. There's day camps that you can go to that are less expensive. But I didn't even want to do that. I didn't want to be told what to do on my summer vacation. I just wanted to play and have fun with the few friends that I had, and I didn't want somebody hanging over my shoulder watching everything I did like I was in school. Leave me the fuck alone.
Yes, yeah.
And like I was telling you before, I'm not a joiner. I would be Angela. I wouldn't want to participate in any, because she doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
And I would be the same way.
You'd rather dismember.
Yes, exactly. This is a really good scene.
I wish I had a robe.
You wish you had a robe? I have one.
No, it's like his is really short. I was like, I could rock that.
Oh, a shorty robe you want?
Yes.
No, you don't. You don't want one of those.
The rest of us do.
This is I guess you could count this part here
But then,
as a suggestion.
like from my own experience, I was never one who liked showering in front of other people, so I just I could sympathize more with her here than any other place.
She takes showers when
Well, I mean, I think I know why you didn't want to.
Judy.
Not because of erections or anything. Although I remember this is like a bit of too much information. I went to one camp when I was quite young, and I didn't use the toilet. Just so it was,
Ever?
I had a 3-day blockage.
Oh my god, that's not good. Now, who the hell has a water balloon fight on a roof?
Yeah, I know.
What is that? That's so
So-
dangerous.
Health hazard? Yeah. Well, they could have filled the balloons with tar.
Perhaps, or pig's blood. But there's one moment, because they throw the balloon at her, and then Mel comes, and after the whole thing is over, he says to Angela, "You better go get changed before you catch pneumonia." It's supposed to be the dog days of summer. What the hell is he talking about?
Yeah. So, do you reckon she gets hard for this guy that comes up to her?
For what?
She gets comforted by, I think his name is Paul, but I could be wrong.
Paul. She's confused.
Yeah.
I think she likes Paul because he's, of the kids, the only one who's nice to her.
Yeah.
I don't think she really knows what she is.
Enough. Nice on the whole business. You realize how dangerous those things are.
You could have taken her eye out with a water balloon? What?
about this. There's going to be no canteen for a whole week. And that goes for you too on account of your filthy mouth. What? If I ever hear anything like this again, I'm gonna
What
throw
is
the
in his
whole bunch of you
pants?
out of here. And don't think I don't mean it.
His dick?
No, it's got something. Oh, well, not the cut to is a blooper, but he had something like poking out of his pants. Like, almost, if it was made today, I would have guessed it was a phone, but it's not.
One of the kids?
You better go change
Yeah.
before we catch pneumonia. It's almost time.
One of the guys on the roof.
Yeah, I heard it was his dick.
No, it was a solid, like
Yeah, his dick.
a plastic object.
Can we turn the page? Jesus Christ.
Let me
You
lick
act like
my
you never
finger.
seen one before. This, I really,
Sure.
I hate when people say that.
Take a dump.
Yes, I don't like that at all.
What about I got to back one out?
No. How about I have to use the restroom?
I'm gonna drop the kids off at the pool.
No. No. I don't think
That sticker's strong enough to.
no, I'm trying to think. I don't remember if these were Jonathan Tierston's hands here.
Yeah.
I don't think that, because I think there is bees in the hive at one point.
Who is that?
I don't know. You'll have to tell me. But if there is, and I think there is, when you see it go through the screen, that it was somebody else holding the, holding the
okay.
stick.
This is like the other movie that we're going to be doing. The Crush.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I got it.
I thought that might have been a thinking pause.
I was kind of distracted by his effeminate shrieking. Well, there's another movie. I mean, this happens in horror movies more often than I think it should, where people get killed in a stall. Well, it happened in Popcorn.
No,
too.
but his pussed out stings have come along.
Oh, that
quite
was
quickly.
bad. That was nasty. Yeah, that was nasty. The effects in this are really good
Yeah,
for a low budget movie.
and for early 80s.
Yeah. And when this was submitted for a rating, it got an R right away,
Yeah,
which is surprising because this was around the time that the MPAA was starting to, because of Friday the 13th, they were starting to get down. They were starting to I was going to say go down. They were starting to get down on horror movies, in particular slasher movies.
like being
And-
conservative with them, or
They
Were they being
wanted them tamer.
oh, okay, yep.
And I think, well, because Robert Hiltzik wanted an R. This was made for an R-rated audience, even though it's
Yeah.
kids. But
See, yeah, that's the confusing part about it. If you wanted an R, I think you could have used older actors.
well,
No, just I feel that when you got young kids, then it's aimed for a younger audience.
yeah, well, it is. Because I mean, who watches these movies more than anybody else?
Yeah, I guess the 16 to 35-year-old.
Scared you, huh?
I thought you were
Yeah.
the
Come on. Don't tell me you believe it.
I never liked that scene because it doesn't look like. I mean, she's supposed to be creeping. I don't know who she's
Yeah.
supposed to be looking for, but it doesn't.
And her line is, I know that's just hiding the fact that it's her, but
Yeah. But it doesn't look like she's looking. It looks like she was told, act like you're looking.
yep.
Here comes one of the biggies, the big suggestions that's coming up.
Although I remember when I was like 12, I started getting a lip moustache.
No, don't. Come on, Angela. I'm not doing anything.
Here it comes, wait.
Ah. And this
She's
is an
thinking-
interesting little subplot. Yeah,
She's thinking to
yes.
herself, that's me.
yeah. Two men making out.
Yeah. And she's thinking, I am what I was making fun of with my brother.
Yeah,
This is me. And that's why she freaks out. I think that was a really smart way of doing that.
yeah.
Because it doesn't, you wouldn't, when you watch it, you really wouldn't, it's not something that you would pick up on.
Yeah.
Unless you watched it a second or a third time. And then you go back and you see those kinds of scenes and you're like, oh,
Yes.
that makes sense.
Activity schedule, and that bites the big one. So today we're going to try something a little different, okay? Like in Color War, you're going to be separated into two groups, and we're going to play Capture the Flag.
Capture the flag. Fuck that.
You guys who never played before, Gene is going to explain the rules.
Yeah. So if you notice, in this one, she doesn't, Gino and a couple of the other counselors, they were nice to her, so she doesn't fuck with them.
Yeah.
And she gets back at all the bullies who fuck with her.
But then she does do a bit extra with the like really young kids.
Well, they're ones who throw the sand at her.
Ah,
when after she gets thrown into the water
I just wasn't ready.
as
Just
Ricky and
please don't.
Paul are guiding her back to the bench. Yeah, they're throwing sand at her. That's why she
Yeah.
did that to them. But Robert Hiltzik said that's the one thing in the movie he regrets. He says
Yeah,
if
yeah.
he had it to do it again, he would take that scene out.
What do you know?
I guess he thought it was a little too nasty, and it was. It's a mean-spirited movie.
Yeah.
Angela,
But yeah, so
I got a great plan.
in this one, she
Sneak up behind them.
she doesn't mess with those who are nice to her or those she perceives to be nice.
Yeah.
And in
I
the
can't do it by
in the
myself.
sequels, she kills off the bad
The
kids.
day will be over and you won't
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
play anymore. Okay?
All right, where do we have to go?
Because she's older.
So she becomes more like Dexter in the other ones.
Mm.
Like, I feel in regards to the kids, what was that?
Flag should be around there past those trees.
If they could have kept the scene in if they had made her character less. I feel she comes across a bit pathetic
How do I know?
and less emotionless.
Good question.
And I think that if they had made her more just
When I see them run after you,
so stoic and uncaring of who she's killing, then that could have worked with the kids. But because she's sort of played as the really downtrodden victim in the whole thing. Not that she isn't, but
Hmm.
that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to start killing everyone.
No.
Jesus, will you loosen up already? That wasn't so bad, was it?
I just remember you could see her nipple through the shirt in this.
Angela.
Oh, those fucking birds. She.
It's in the
She-
movie.
Shut up. She was. Oh, that right there.
The finger.
When he gives her the finger, that was another thing that was missing.
Yeah. Surprised they didn't edit out her nipple. Because you can really see it and she looks like she's got huge tits.
Yeah, she does. I think she might have been a little bit older. I
Yeah.
think she might have been 18.
Angela.
But she was one of the actors who was really difficult for people to find for the longest time.
Yeah.
So nobody knew what happened to Karen Fields until like I think sometime after 2010, and then she started making the convention circuit.
Back together soon.
Yep.
Boy, Angela, you sure are forgiving. Especially after you told me what a prude you were.
I like that part right there. He has really nice eyes.
Yeah.
And he looks-
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for blue eyes. I always wished I had blue eyes.
Yeah, but with brown eyes, they go honey colored in the sunlight.
It's okay for you.
Yeah, brown eyes are too pedestrian.
Huh, Angela?
Everybody's got brown eyes.
Well, you would have had blue eyes when you were first born.
Yes, everybody knows that. My mother has blue eyes,
Ah.
but I got my father's brown eyes
All right, I
because I guess the Italian gene
Oh,
was more dominant because he's 100% Italian and my mother is half Irish, half German.
oh, okay. This is the scene with the counselor working out in the background.
Let's go for a swim.
Oh, you saw it?
Yes.
You afraid?
He's minding his own beeswax, doing curls.
Well, say something, you spoiled baby.
Another thing I don't like about this is,
Good friend.
or is it this part where she's sucking in her stomach
Today.
and it's
Yes,
really
she is.
obvious?
Yes. She's going to get head spins from how long she's holding it in for.
And Felissa is clearly holding back when she's punching her.
Question.
Hey, what are you doing?
It's like all those other times. She gets into trouble, you run to her rescue and try to take care of everybody. How are you gonna do it this time? Another drowning or something worse?
What are you talking
He's really good in this, Mike Kellen, I think.
Mm.
With the water fight, you killed them.
I like the way she falls into the water because it's kind of weird and askew, and her like legs are all twisted.
Ah, yes, yeah.
I was glad that they did it that way because it wasn't like, you know, perfect.
Yes, yeah.
It didn't look choreographed. It looked like she was thrown.
You're a real peckerhead, you know that, Meg?
I always thought he was kind of cute.
Yes,
I
especially
think
with
the
the
hat
hat.
works for him.
Yes. He takes it off and he's got a huge
See, there it
patch,
is.
I'm sure. Ah, yep.
Calm down, Angela. It's okay now. Everything's gonna be all right. You won't let them get away with this. That's for sure.
There's a suggestion right there that maybe it's Ricky.
Yes, yeah.
Or maybe that they're in it together because he says we won't let them get away with this.
Those on duty could start bringing your kids up around 9, except for Eddie, who I got some bigger and better things to plan.
Well, there's something that was good about this movie. Something that you mentioned is that the names aren't just generic.
Campfires, sleeping on eggs for breakfast.
Steve and Bob and
Okay. As for the rest of you, you're all on tonight, except for
like the Stephen King character names.
Jerry and Matt.
Yeah, he uses the same pedestrian names over and over again. Like, I can't tell you how many fucking Bills there have been, or Toms, or, you know.
Like
But-
Mel Kostic is.
There's a line though. I mean, yeah, you do look like you're trying too hard if you go for really exotic names.
Yeah.
Remember that dinner you at your place?
I try not to use the same names over and over again, but it does get to be a little challenging.
You got it.
Yeah.
What's really hard for me is surnames, because I'm not going to name somebody Smith or Johnson,
Yes.
because that's way too basic.
Got me a date
Yeah.
tonight. With who?
Well, dude, just like check out the white pages.
I can't read the white pages, Tony.
No, but you could listen out.
No, I downloaded, or I went to a website that
Jude! Is the water still on next door?
it was,
Great.
I don't remember what year it was, but it was the most the 1,000 most popular names of that year, and it was
Yeah.
for both boys and girls and surnames. So I saved those into 3 separate Word documents, and I reference them
Yeah.
if I can't think of a character name.
Have you ever gotten a baby book of names and their meanings?
I
Yeah.
did, but it was all celebrity names,
Oh, really?
and it was like the same names over and over and over again too.
Oh my
And
God.
it wasn't. It was a really. It was not like a good baby book.
Yeah.
It was like it wasn't like one of those where the name originated or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was just a bunch of lists.
Okay, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. So it was all the names of like popular celebrities of that time. There was like Justin and Taylor and Kim and Miley, and it's like, what the, really? I paid like $15 for this, and it was huge. It was like a phone book with the same
Okay.
names over and over again.
Yeah.
I donated it to the library.
That's lovely of you. You were saying
Oh, I don't.
you've donated a lot of things to the library.
I did. I have.
Movies?
Yeah, a lot of DVDs, a lot of books.
Guys, you set up, and I'll go get some wood for the fire, okay?
Can I
I
come?
recently joined up my local library and wanted to check out their DVD collection just to... Well, because they don't have, video stores anymore, and that's sort of the last remaining DVD hire place is the library.
Yeah, that's true. I was listening to a podcast. This was a while ago, and they wanted to do. I don't remember what the movie was, but they wanted to do a review of a specific movie from like the early '90s, and the DVD was out of print, and it wasn't on Blu-ray, and this this girl was saying that the only place that she was able to find it was at the library, and while she was there, she was perusing all of their DVD stock, and after that, it became like a regular thing, and it felt like going to the video store again
Yeah.
and renting movies. So she's talking about how much fun she had.
Yeah.
Does your library allow you to request books on their website? Or do you have to go?
No, I think you can request it on the website. And all of the libraries are connected. So my local library is... oh, God, I forget the name. It's at a place called Hollywood. But if there's a library book at, say, Aberfoyle, then they'll deliver it in and I can collect it up at my local. Yeah. I used to do that too. I did that with like certain books that were obscure and were in an audiobook format. I would scan them and I would convert them to MP3 files. Oh, nice.
The voice is terrible. I mean, it's an electronic computer generated voice, but at least I get to read the book.
Yeah. Well, me and my nephew used to have a lot of fun typing out on the iMac and then getting the lady to read it out. And he used to when he was a baby. He was very obsessed with it, telling people to go to the toilet or something.
Is this Marcus we're talking about?
Yes.
So Marcus likes to tell people to go to the toilet.
When he was young, like when he was a baby. In reception type of thing.
It doesn't make it. This is a major plot hole here, how she got there. Because they had to drive
out
to the woods.
She's off tonight now.
Oh, that's right.
The kids, the ones who wanted to leave because they were cold in the dead of summer. I don't know why. He said up to the car, so they had to drive.
Yeah.
What the fuck did she do? Like strap herself underneath like Robert De Niro and Cape Fear? Yeah. Did you see when they did that in The Simpsons?
No, I did. And they also did it in a movie that I love called Fatal Instinct. With James Remar, I think is the character that does it.
So gross.
I don't mind him. He was in a Wes Craven movie that I didn't mind that I accidentally taped off of telly. And
which one was that?
It's called Night Visions. It's a bit tacky, but like I thought it was a pretty good concept.
You could ruin your eyes reading in the dark like that.
I don't know that one, but I remember the cover for Fatal Instinct. Wasn't that the one with Dom DeLuise who had like it was like supposed to be a spoof on Silence of the Lambs, and he had
no, that's Silence of the Hams.
Oh,
this one's got Sean Young,
right?
And she's sitting on the front. And I think she might have like a spoof of Sharon Stone in the interrogation room.
Right. Yeah. That one I remember used to be on cable a lot, and
Yes.
The Silence of the Hams, I guess, is just one I see in the video store all the time.
I was actually thinking of that one today because,
Well, that's weird.
yeah. Oh no, because we were talking about how the other day I took some fruit from my dad, and he just reminded me of one of the secretaries who keeps forcing coffee onto people, and you have to yell like, "I don't want your damn coffee."
Oh.
Oh my God. Love you, man. He did this. Get back at me. I had him. I let him go.
When the makeup artist was applying her makeup, he asked the director, he said, do you want her to be bloody? And he said no. It washed away.
Yeah. I think that works.
I think I think so too. For like a one-time director, I mean, it's a very competently made film.
Yes.
It may not have the best acting, but it's certainly well written and it's well thought out.
He had a vision.
He definitely did. Yes. And if you look at this and you compare it to Return to Sleepaway Camp, oh my God. I always say sometimes that there are certain artists who only have one good whatever in them.
Yeah.
One good movie, one good book, one good record.
One-hit artists.
Yes. That's it.
Yeah.
You do one and you can't. That's why who is that author who only wrote one book? It's a really famous book.
The Bible?
I can't remember, but it's a really famous book.
But you don't remember the book.
Wasn't it To Kill a Mockingbird?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think she ever wrote another book. No,
Yeah.
wait, I think she did.
Harper Lee, that's her name. Yeah.
Yes, Harper Lee. I think she did a couple of years. She wrote a sequel or something.
Yes.
And that was the first thing that she'd written since To Kill a Mockingbird.
But did it come
Or
out?
published. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like I have a memory of her sort of, there was a case they felt that she might have been getting like elder abused in her later stage.
Oh, no.
Something like that. Oh, maybe I shouldn't even, I should have been more certain before saying it, but like I feel like there was something to do with her being like taken advantage of by her relatives or something like that.
Oh. On VHS, it's like impossible to see what that is.
Yeah.
And I never knew what the fuck it was for the longest time. Until, you know how I pieced, so to speak, how I pieced it together.
How's that?
In the sequel, in the second one, there's a campfire scene where a girl is telling the story about what happened at Camp Arawak. And she says a bunch of little kids were hatcheted to death.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's what that was. Because you do see the hatchet.
Yes. And here's a cousin.
Who? Ricky?
Oh, I believe. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, Ricky is her cousin. Who her mother is, I don't know. That was something that I always wondered about.
Yep, yep.
Listen, I'll get them now. Right now I will. I just don't believe it, though.
There was some speculation that um, that the men weren't exactly. I always assumed that they were a couple. They were living together, and they were raising the kids. But that's what I always took away from it. There's a lot of ambiguity.
Yeah.
But that's what I always assumed. But there's another assumption that the father was messing around on Peter and Angela's mother.
Yeah. See, I kind of thought that way simply because of the age of the movie, that it was an affair, not an affair, sorry, but like a side hustle. Because I guess I never really thought what happened to the mother, like, because she could have looked after the kids after the dad died, but
yeah, she could have. Well, see, that's another thing, though. Maybe they used the surrogate.
Oh yeah.
And that's why.
All right, great.
But the other
But
guy.
then in saying that, in saying that, I wouldn't think that the kids would then have such a not prejudice, but like they wouldn't then have made fun of their two dads. You know, in that little flashback scene
I
on the
don't think
bed.
they understood. They don't. You didn't tell kids about homosexuality. They were supposed to be like, so she's 13, and it was 8 years later. So they were supposed to be like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So they didn't understand. They wouldn't have understood if you tried to explain it to them.
No, but I don't think they would have seen it as something to make fun of.
Let's go swimming. Now? Take them off.
Well, I think maybe because it wouldn't have been something that they'd ever seen before.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have seen. They'd probably seen a male-female couple embracing on TV and stuff like that, but two men being affectionate with each other, they more than likely just didn't understand. And when you're a kid, what you don't understand is a joke. It's funny. You laugh because you don't know any better.
Found one.
Here he is. We're about to see him with the blood. See all the blood caked in his nose.
Yes. Ah, yep.
Yeah, he said he had a lot of trouble with that. It was very, very unpleasant. You know, well, I mean, that documentary was from 7 years ago, so I don't know what he looks like now, but he looks good.
Yeah.
He's like in his 50s, and he looks really good.
Okay.
Definitely doesn't look his age. I'm not saying I'm lusting after him, but he's not a bad looking guy.
He was in your wet dreams. It looked
No,
like
that was you. Ha!
What was that you said?
I said no, that was you.
Damn torch.
We don't say torch. We say
Why do you have
flashlight. Like normal
flashlights?
people.
Yes.
I read the English. The English say torch as well.
I feel like does this have a long credit sequence?
You okay? Angela, can you hear me?
Well, we're about to get to the Aunt Martha scene.
Oh, of course, yeah. Well, there's a bit more.
This is
to it,
such a good fucking scene.
yeah. Yes.
And you
it's
think
sort of-
she's... Go ahead.
No. Well, you'd think by the first impression that she was a terrible actress, and then this sort of makes it seem like,
Yeah.
oh, so that's why she behaves that way. Like,
Exactly. Yep, that's what I was going to say. And you know what else I never knew about this? They something happened where they couldn't film in in that house any more when they needed to film this end. So they had the cassette decorators or whatever.
The wallpaper.
They had them rebuild it, and they did the wallpaper and the stairs and everything. And but they didn't do anything else. They just did that wall and the stairs.
Made it turn out better because then it makes it how a memory is.
It looks like a dream.
Yes.
I know you're going to like that name.
Oh my god.
Oh no. You just ruined the whole commentary. And right at the twist.
Jesus.
You know, did you see his little beer belly?
Yes.
Yeah, supposedly he was crying.
Well, and I think what makes it creepy and what makes you not realizing it's a mask is that you see his tongue moving.
I don't think I ever realized that.
Like you see the gap in the back of the throat opening and closing with.
And they had glass eyes, which I guess were the same kind that you would use for taxidermy.
Yeah.
It's a really, really authentic looking mask.
Yes, yeah.
And because it was always so realistic, or I thought it was always so realistic, I never knew how they did that scene.
Yes, yeah. Well, and because it was an old movie, you couldn't use a modern technology excuse for how they did it.
Right.
Like you couldn't say it was CGI type of thing.
And in that podcast I was telling you about, that was talking about the movie, I don't know if they were saying it in jest or not, but they were saying that the dick was pretty big.
I mean, I thought it was an average.
That's what
an average dick.
I remember. That's what I remember. But they were like, "Wow, yeah, it was pretty girthy." And
do you want me to rewind? I'm just joking. No.
I never really. I mean, I never really looked at it. I looked at it, but it's not like something that I ever stared at because it seemed weird. Because he was 18 and he was very small for his age.
Yes,
because they had to get somebody who was Felissa Rose's build.
Yeah. Well, I think you're looking at the face more than the penis. Like you sort of realize there's a penis, but yeah.
It's like, okay, there's a penis, but oh my god, a face.
Yes,
and it's Angela's face.
I think the first time I saw it, I was more thinking, how did they do the penis on her? Like, as opposed to thinking, how did they put the face on a guy?
I couldn't. I had no idea. I couldn't even begin to imagine what they did. I thought there was probably an editing trick. It was like a trick of the lens or something.
Yeah.
Because you know how like they used to do that thing. It's so dated now, where they like have to try to put like an actor playing twins, like on one side of the screen and the other time. It was like so cheesy.
Yeah.
But I thought it was something like that.
Yeah. So I thought maybe like a layering or something, where they just had a actor stand in the exact same spot and then just sort of laid the picture on top of each other.
Where would his head go?
Well, it got cut out. I have no idea. It ended with it would have been a great takeaway. You know, just leave the cinema and go, oh.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how I knew, but I knew.
Yeah.
So I wasn't.
You've got ESPN.
No, I wasn't startled by the ending.
Yeah.
I didn't see them in order because I wanted to rent this one first, but it wasn't in. So I rented the third one. And the third one, they don't talk about it.
Yeah.
But they do talk about it in the second one because she goes, she undergoes the surgery, or she's supposed, her
okay.
character does.
To become a
woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's I feel that kind of makes me feel sorry for her because the gender was assigned by the aunt as opposed to how she actually felt about herself.
Yeah. Yeah, it was decided for her.
Yes.
So the aunt played God. And another thing that they were saying too in the documentary was that she thought she was a doctor.
The aunt?
Yeah.
Or the... Oh, okay. Oh,
no,
that's right, yes.
I think she was.
Because she gives that doctor's excuse that she can't do certain things.
That she was just crazy. No, I think that she was like a GP or something.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning, the boyfriend says Doc's going to be here soon.
Yep.
And that's what they called her. So she was a doctor. She just wasn't, and she was able to, well, there's that. She wasn't like a surgeon or she worked in a hospital, I don't think. What do you call it? What was I going to say? No, but getting back to the third one, yeah. So I saw the third one first, then I saw this one, and then I saw the second one. But I for the life of me, I don't know how I knew, but I knew.
Yeah.
So somebody ruined the twist. I guess somebody told me. I don't know. Because when you're that age, or at least in my experience, kids ruin that kind of stuff for you all the time.
Yeah.
And also, you really don't care. You kind of want to know.
Yeah.
Like, at least for me,
you don't want to find out through natural process type of thing.
Yeah. And you're impatient. And
yes.
when my friend went to go see Jason Goes to Hell when it first came out, he came back and he was like, I don't know if you want me to ruin it for you, but there's a really big surprise at the very end.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Why?
What is it?
And he was like, are you sure you want me to ruin it for you? And I was like, yeah. You sure? Because you're going to flip out. And I was like, yes, tell me now. What is it? Yeah, and that's when he told me about the glove, Freddy's glove. And speaking of...
Did that happen?
What did you think? What did you think I was talking about?
I couldn't remember Jason Goes to Hell.
Well, it's not very memorable. No, but because I got the Friday the 13th box set, the new one. There's a new commentary with the director.
Is it at the beginning they blow him up in front of lights?
Yes.
Yeah, so I remember that one. Yeah, so it is that one.
Yeah.
I forgot the ending.
Yes. So at the very end, because Jason goes to hell and Freddy's already been in hell, Freddy's arm with the glove comes out of the ground and pulls his mask.
Yeah.
Down. But it was interesting because the director was saying that he grew up a big horror fanboy and he loved the Evil Dead, and that's why he wanted to incorporate the Necronomicon in the movie and make it part of the whole Jason mythos. And I thought that was a bit much.
Yeah.
You didn't really need all that, but he went to visit Sam Raimi on the set of Army of Darkness, because he knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody.
Yeah.
And he talked to Sam and he told him his idea, and he was like, "Do you think I could borrow the Necronomicon?" And Sam was like, "Sure." He's down. He is down for whatever.
Yes.
Sam does not give a shit. And so he was like, "Yeah, I'll have somebody go get it for you." And somebody came up to him and handed it to him in a Ziploc bag. And so they used it for the movie, but he gave it back. But the difference was, he said it was very, very different with the glove. Somebody from New Line came with a glove in a lockbox and stood there and watched them film the scene. And when they got the shot, they took the glove, put it back in the lockbox, and drove off.
Yeah. I could believe that very much.
Well, I think Freddy's glove is a little more valuable than... I mean, I do like The Evil Dead, but, I mean, come on.
Well, they might have still been making sequels at the time with the glove, as well as...
No.
No?
No. Freddy's Dead had already come out, and that was supposed to be the last one.
Yeah.
Until...
I know, but, like, Robert Shea was quite... money hungry, as in like wanted to drain a movie of all its financial worth that he could.
Well, as from what I know and from what I remember, Freddy's Dead was considered, well, it was considered to be, no, okay, I fucked up, hold on. It was always meant to be the last one. New Nightmare really isn't an Elm Street movie.
Yeah, I don't consider it. I consider it part of the collection, but not.
It's part of the canon.
It's an aside. Yeah,
it's part. Yeah, it's like a yeah, it's like a what do you call
spin-off.
It? A spin-off. Yeah, yeah. But so that's why in Freddy versus Jason, it begins with both Freddy and Jason in hell.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was always supposed to be the last one, because they had already been trying to get Freddy versus Jason off the ground for years, and it didn't look like it was going to happen.
Well,
so
yeah, you can't just throw them together. Like, there needs to be, and as much as the movie that came about wasn't really great, it sort of had, okay, I can see that happening, but you can't just say, here's Freddy and here's Jason, now go play. You need a proper intro.
Well, there's a book called Slash of the Titans that goes through not all, because there's a lot.
Yeah.
Of different ideas and scripts for Freddy versus Jason, and some of them were really inventive, I thought.
Yeah.
And one idea that I liked involved Freddy being a counselor at Crystal Lake, and he had molested Jason as a kid.
Yes, yeah.
So I thought that would have been interesting.
Or was one that he had raped his mother, Pamela? I've read that somewhere, but that obviously didn't go ahead.
I don't remember. I think that sounds about right. But there were some stupid ones too, where a lot of people like this idea that Freddy became like a joke, and kids would take sleeping pills so that they can go into the dream and beat him up. It became
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a pastime. I thought that was really stupid. But there was
yeah,
one really interesting idea that was supposed to be that Jason was um, meant to be it was like it was supposed to be it was kind of supposed to be meta in the way that New Nightmare was, in that the movies were based on a real person, so
yeah,
that
yeah,
there really was this, but he wasn't a supernatural being. He was like just maniac who lived somewhere in the woods in Crystal Lake, and they had been police had been hunting for him for however many years, and they finally got him. And I don't remember how Freddy worked into it, but I thought that was one of the most interesting ideas. But what they ultimately decided and what they thought was the best idea was to just take the characters and throw them in the movie and have them do what they do best. So they really weren't trying to be very inventive.
yeah,
They just wanted the dream kills as they wanted Freddy to be seen as he was seen in all the movies, and they wanted Jason to, break out the machete.
yeah.
And I just thought it was lazy. It was lazy.
I guess it was for the everyday fan as opposed to the horror enthusiast.
Yes, for the it definitely wasn't a movie for the hardcore fans, because the hardcore fans were not very happy with a director not casting Kane Hodder as Jason.
Yes. Yeah.
So I remember reading about that on message boards. People were pissed. People were pissed.
Now, I was going to ask about Sleepaway Camp because you mentioned Return to Sleepaway Camp and the other two, but have you seen Sleepaway Camp 4, The Survivor?
Sleepaway Camp 4 was it's kind of a fan movie.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
Here's what it is. When you bought the Sleepaway Camp survival kit I heard somebody say recently that you could get it at Target too, but from what I remember, it was a Best Buy exclusive. You could only get it at Best Buy. But there was a bonus disc with the footage that was shot for Sleepaway Camp 4, because
Yeah.
they ran out of money.
Yeah.
So it was never finished. But there was this production footage that one of the creators of the original Sleepaway Camp website, John Kaliza, found, and he helped participate with putting the survival kit together and getting that disc. So what he did was he took the footage that was on the disc and basically made like a mashup of footage from the first 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's like kind of like a clip show.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds terrible.
Yes, it's not good. There's not really a linear storyline. And Angela wasn't even in it, or she wasn't meant to be in it. I guess that she was supposed to be dead at the end of part 3. But it was supposed to be centered around a girl who had gone to Camp Arawak as a kid and survived the killings. And she wanted to go back there because for some therapeutic reasons, and she meets this psychotic ranger who stalks her through the woods. So there's like footage of him watching her as she's sunbathing interspliced with, Angela killing people from the previous movie. And it was self-distributed by through Amazon.
Yeah.
So some fans count it. Nothing against John Claza. I've corresponded with him. He seems like a really nice guy. I don't know him, but it's not good.
Yeah.
And I don't really consider it to be Sleepaway Camp 4.
Yeah.
I don't consider Return to Sleepaway Camp to be Sleepaway Camp 4. I don't even consider Return to Sleepaway Camp to be fucking Sleepaway Camp. Because that was hot ass garbage.
We'll flush that turd before watching it.
No, we're not. Because I don't even own it anymore. And from what I heard, Robert Hiltzik was a total dick on the set of that movie. He didn't even pay his actors, or that's that was supposedly one of the big things, because it was shot in 2003 and didn't come out until 2008. And I think it was because there was a lot of shenanigans going on with him. I don't want to fucking
speak ill
I don't
of
want
someone
to
with a
libel
law
myself.
degree.
Yeah, I don't want to libel myself here, but allegedly some stuff was going on behind the scenes, and people were not too happy.
Like, why even come back for it if you're gonna have such an unhappy experience making it? Like,
because he thought he was talking about it in like 99 when when Anchor Bay first released the first movie on VHS and DVD. And he was saying, I have all these ideas. And then it was he and Felissa who started showing up at conventions first.
Yeah.
And he was selling shirts that had Return to Sleepaway Camp on it. And on the back was the tagline, which was "Kids can be so mean." Yeah. But the movie wasn't even in the works. And from the way everything was going, it didn't look like it was going to be. And then supposedly, it was being shot, and I didn't know what the hell to believe. But then it was like, it was shot, it's done. And then 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, where the hell is it?
Yeah.
And then it finally came out straight to video in like October of 2008. And it was not worth the wait.
Those years of anticipation were not worth it.
Nope.
Well, I kind of feel that like Sleepaway Camp was a real accidental success, and not something you could really replicate. Kind of like in the same vein as The Room.
The Room, exactly.
Yeah.
I know.
Where you can't force, all of these things came together just right.
Yeah. The stars aligned. And God knows Tommy Wiseau and Greg Sestero have tried with their other stuff. But I don't think anybody even pays them. By the way, I was thinking, I probably shouldn't say this during a commentary, but I always wanted to do a commentary for The Room, but not by myself. And I think it would be fun if I could somehow convince James, if we could all do one together.
Yeah.
Because like I said, because we talked about it on the show before, and like I said, I never saw the whole movie.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't get through it. Because I tried to watch it by myself, and it's so fucking painful.
Those type of movies can be.
Movie,
yeah. Like it was a real chore for me to get through, like Plan 9 from Outer Space. Some of these movies you really need to watch with other people to appreciate. You need to share the ill experience.
Mm-hmm. Some people say that about Showgirls. I disagree. I used to watch Showgirls.
I was able to watch Showgirl by myself, but it I didn't find it terrible as much as I was shocked by how dark it became. But anyway, we're not talking about Showgirls.
Yes. Yeah. Well, they say that about the in the You Don't Know Me documentary, how that scene with Molly getting sexually assaulted wasn't needed because she was the nicest character in the whole movie and the only one who looked out for Nomi and really cared about Nomi and took care of her, and this is what she got.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can see why it's there, because they were very much trying to make an exploitation movie.
Yeah.
And so with the whole rape and then Nomi getting her revenge, that was like kind of like a Death Wish type moment.
Yeah. But maybe had it happened earlier in the film, it could have been more forgivable. Like, because I sort of, by that stage that it happened, you'd sort of gotten into a comfortable routine of what the movie was like, and then suddenly that came along.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, when it plays at midnight shows, they skip it. Because a lot of people don't like it. I skip it too if I watch it. I don't like it.
Yeah. Oh, I don't like it, but I don't think I'd skip it just to
well, I mean,
let it, I can't be bothered to touch the remote.
I don't know. I mean, it's rough. It's really hard to watch, and especially, like I said, with Molly being the nicest character in the movie. And I don't know. I don't like it. I can watch other rape revenge movies, but that's not what Showgirls was really meant to be.
Yes.
So you really don't expect it.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying, is that with all of those type of movies, it's something that happens quite early on. And then the revenge is the rest of the movie.
Right.
Like I Spit on Your Grave and...
Yeah. Yeah, so you just kind of think that Showgirls is meant to be like a fucking... Well, it was supposed to be a take on Sunset Boulevard. But it like a trashier, sleazier version of that.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a rumor or not. I don't think it is. I think it's actually true. But I heard, speaking of Madonna not doing movies. No, I don't think she was. They wanted her for Crystal.
Yes, and Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore for Nomi. Yep. And neither of them want to go anywhere. Well, Madonna was doing Evita at the time.
Yes, yeah.
And I could see why they wanted her, because she could dance and she could, And
I think that persona suited her, of Gina Gresham's character.
I think so. I don't think it suited Drew Barrymore. I love Drew Barrymore, but I don't think she would have fared well in that role.
Well, yeah, I think she had her sex kit phase, but I think by the time Showgirls came out, she might have been stepping away from that.
She was done. She was done
behind her. Yeah.
Yeah. By the time Showgirls came out, she was doing Boys on the Side and stuff like that.
Well, Scream came out before Showgirls, didn't it?
No, a year after. That was 96. Yep. Showgirls was 95.
Yeah.
Well, do you have any final thoughts on Sleepaway Camp? Because we should probably wrap this up, even though you destroyed the whole commentary with your whatever the fuck that was.
No, well, and I did even say, but it's one of those machines where if you say a certain name, it responds and tells you information. But I'm not going to say her name.
Oh, so it's like Hamlet,
like Echo, or hey, I'm not going to say it because then my phone is going to respond to you. Anyway, it's a machine that you can talk to and it responds to you. So it must have heard something wrong.
So what do you have, like a smart house or something?
It's a I'll just say it.
So you have one of the Alexa type things. It's just not Alexa.
Yes. I don't. No, it is that name, but I don't want to say it because then she'll respond to me.
So you do have.
It sounds like I'm being stalked in my own houses.
But when did you say Alexa?
No, I didn't. But sometimes they mishear you, and then she starts babbling on.
Well, that's when you say, Alexa, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but I wasn't going to say that in the commentary. Like she used to always pipe up when we were watching Schitt's Creek because of one of the characters' names sounds similar to it.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to have to remember that for next time.
It didn't happen. Anyway, it was glad being with you, and I look forward to Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers.
Absolutely. It's going to be a good time. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for listening to the commentary for the podcast, and I hope you'll join me again. So, yes, until next time, this is Brandon Ford wishing you all unpleasant dreams.